I'm either really arrogant or really ignorant in believing that if something supernatural did happen, I would be able to handle it.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
This is very early morning here in Taiwan.
Is it? What time is it?
It's 6 a.m. right now.
Oh, sorry.
Good morning, my friend.
Yeah, it looks quite bright in your place as well.
Yeah, it still is. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so we have another about 4 or 5 hours of daylight here in Toronto.
I'm really a big fan of the Conjuring franchise. I'm very curious because, in the Asian countries, if we are making a horror film, we have such ritual before the movie actually taking place. We will do some ceremony, maybe take the sins to prayer for the safety during all the shootings. Is it something that you have that same custom in the US when you're making a horror film?
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that about culturally about that. No, I mean, it certainly has become, for our franchise, it has become a ritual. We didn't start off that way at Conjuring 1. We do a set blessing now. It started on Conjuring 2, I think, after some of the dark things that some of the actors were experiencing on the first one, that it became important to the producers and the actors. There was a little child actor who actually requested it on Conjuring 2. She had heard what had happened to children in the first one, and it was her idea. And so now it's become a ritual, and yeah, I think rituals are important.
Yeah, it's not a common thing in other movies. It's not like it's an American thing, like you're saying. It's an Asian ritual. We don't really have an American ritual. It's more of a Conjuring ritual. So I haven't done it on other horror movies, but maybe we should.
I'm only interested in reality.
But I can see things that your people can't.
This is the fourth film that both of you been participating in the universe. Have you ever encountered any supernatural things?
Not in several years. Yeah, not in several years. We both feel like if it happened, we would handle it anyway. And I'm not saying I can, but I just feel that I'm either really arrogant or really ignorant in believing that if something supernatural did happen, I would be able to handle it.
And I would be right by his side. I would not stop you off. I would be there.
Something terrible happened here.
The master Satanist is not an adversary to be taken lightly.
She's doing it again.
Yeah, it's good to have new faces in this the Conjuring universe. I'm a big fan of it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
We are too.
So you're too, because I'm about to ask, was it a big yes, or did you guys hesitate when you're taking this role back at the beginning?
Oh my gosh, a huge yes. No doubts at all, no hesitancy whatsoever. I mean, it was...
You love horror films like me.
Yes, I've been a fan of Conjuring for a very long time, and I've said this numerous times today, but when I got the audition, I was just so excited that there was a Conjuring 3 coming out. Like I was like, I don't care if I'm in this, I'm just happy that there's another one coming.
Well, I didn't know the Conjuring films all that well. I mean, I thought I'd seen Conjuring 1 when it came out. I'd seen Insidious instead, it seems. But when I read the script, I mean, this is a man who's possessed, and he kills someone, and like all of these horrible circumstances are kind of,
happening to him,
for the soul. They're kind of great as an actor because you get to go to places that you hoped not to go to in your real life. So it was a definite yes to do it. And
But did you guys really experience something like you're really scared or haunted when shooting?
It's so sad. It's so sad we keep having to say no to everyone today. No, we didn't experience anything weird or demonic or unnormal. It was all pretty safe.
Oh, Ferrari looks really possessed. How did you portray that? I mean, you're perfectly normal, right? You're definitely non-possessed.
Wouldn't say normal.
Not normal, but not possessed. Yeah, I don't believe in any of the paranormal. I've never met a ghost. I've never hung out with Frankenstein's monster. I love horror films though, and I think that they're like, horror films are grotesque and scary, yes, but they're so much fun. They're thrilling, and it's like being on a roller coaster. Like when you're ticking up on a roller coaster and you're about to go over the precipice and plunge down. That is scary, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing on this thing? But it's so exhilarating, and I thought, what's better than watching a horror film than actually being in one and seeing if you can scare yourself.
But you know, the funny thing is, like, if you are playing someone who's being possessed in the Asian crew, you get a red envelope with money in it. I don't know if you do have that tradition in there.
Wow.
Wow.
No, nothing of this tradition. Did you get a red envelope, Rory?
Yeah, some actor or actresses actually told me that they got rich because of the red envelope.
Wow.
I'm sorry we did this in America, Rory.
It's good to see you, Michael. I'm so excited. I mean, I love the previous film we did, which is also part of the universe.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm very curious because this is a real life story. I mean, among all the Warren's cases, why did you choose this topic especially? And this is the first non-house haunted conjuring story.
You know, the actual case was chosen by James. James is still, although, you know, a producer on this film, he is still the Kevin Feige of this universe. He is supervising the main Conjuring films and the spin-offs. So ultimately, he's the one who chose this film, or this story. I think what I was attracted to with this is that it is very different than the other films. It is much more supernatural thriller. We are, as you said, we're blowing the doors off of the haunted house. This is a very different experience for the Warrens. And I think that in itself opens it up to a lot of different encounters and experiences. And you know, if you've seen the film, it's really a thrill ride.
But how do you balance the fiction and the truth part, and especially when you need to, you know, put the blood, put the drama, and put the fear factors in it? How do you balance it?
We did a lot of research on it, and we looked back on interviews between the Warrens, and we interviewed Arnie and Debbie before we made the film. It's very tricky. I think that because there was a real victim in this, you know, we're always trying to be both respectful of that and then also tell a Conjuring movie, deliver that thrill ride experience that audiences expect. So it was always a balancing act. And I think that it was really a case-by-case basis. The movie opens with this exorcism. We have audio recordings of that, you know, we would listen to, share it with the crew and also the actors. I think that was one of the things that would ground us and ground everyone's take on it. It's hard to say what's real and what's not real, because it was such a personal event and an emotional event. We have interviews, we have recordings, but at the end of the day, I always just try to stay true to what was the emotional story behind it.
Whatever is going on, whatever happened that day, that was not Arnie.
It's a witch's totem. We think your family was cursed. And that connection's still open.
Does it change you to have the idea about people saying, devil made me do it? Because sometimes we see the murderer in the court saying that.
It's interesting, that his claim is so extraordinary.
别忘了订阅我们的频道，打开小铃铛就不会错过任何精彩内容，随时上架。我们下回再见。